Here's 2019 question 5. It's an area and volume problem. Um, Here we go. So we have g of x and h of x. They don't really tell us which one's which. Um, but what would it be, right? So I noticed that h is a parabola because it has a square there. It should be an upside down parabola. So it's enough for me to know that this here is h and this one here is really g. Okay? So just keep that in mind. You do have to kind of use that reasoning there. Okay, find the area of R. How do you find the area? You integrate with respect to x, top minus bottom. So h minus g. Where does the region start and stop? Horizontally from 0 to 2. Okay, a little bit of work to be done here. So here we go. We want to integrate. H here is 6 minus 2 quantity x minus 1 squared minus negative 2 plus 3 cosine of pi over 2 x dx from 0 to 2. Okay, so two ways that you could do this. You can integrate them separately or combine like terms. I'll leave that up to you. Okay, so right away I noticed that 6 minus the negative 2 will give me an 8. Okay, minus 2 quantity x minus 1 squared minus, if you distribute that negative, 3 cosine of pi over 2 x. That's my attempt at making it look a little bit easier, but it's up to you. Okay. Okay, so if I integrate, I'm going to have 8x minus 2. Now notice this x minus 1 here is a simple linear, so there's no need for u substitution. It would just be x minus 1 cubed over 3. Okay. So far, so good. Minus 3. Now notice here, there is a function in the function, but it is not a simple linear. So we can use mental u substitution. So the derivative of pi over 2x is just pi over 2. And then we take the reciprocal, which is 2 over pi. That is what's going to go on the outside. The reciprocal of the derivative, okay? So now all that's left to do is to integrate cosine. Integral of cosine is just sine. Stuff on the inside stays the same. Okay? And then we integrate from 0 to 2. I'm not going to do the rest here. You guys are going to plug in your upper minus lower very carefully. The only thing I'm going to ask you guys to remember is to plug in your 2, group that whole thing, and then minus, group that whole thing, and then plug in 0. Okay? Just so that we don't get any mathematical errors there. Just in case you forgot a parentheses. But that's it. Here's part B. They mentioned the region R, which is the shaded region. We have cross sections that are perpendicular to the x-axis. That just means we're integrating with x. And it has the area of 1 over x plus 3. Okay? So if you integrate the area of 1 over... integrate the area... Remember, if you integrate the area, you're going to get the volume of the cross section. So we're going to integrate that area there. Okay? So from 0 to 2. Now, if they didn't give us this area formula, you would actually have to just find it yourself. Okay? Which is just top minus bottom. But they made our jobs a lot easier here. This right here, 1 over something linear, I know it's going to be the natural log of x plus 3. We'll evaluate it from 0 to 2. I'll leave that up to you guys to do the rest there, okay? But equal is equal after you plug it in, okay? Part C, write but do not evaluate. I love these problems here because you don't have to do anything. That gives the integral expression for the volume of the solid generated when R is rotated about y equals 6. Okay, so here we go. Y equals 6. What type of line is that, right? Y equals 6 is just a horizontal line. Okay, and we're rotating here. We want to favor a vertical rectangle so that we keep everything in terms of x. So is this parashell or perpendicular, right? The axis of revolution is definitely perpendicular to the rectangle. So we're either going to use disk or washer. But if you notice, there is a gap here. So we know we're going to use a washer. Okay, so here we go. Washer starts off with pi integral from 0 to 2 of our outside squared minus our inside squared here, okay? So I'll stencil this in for you guys. Outside, remember when you draw it, you start from your axis of revolution to where you're about to exit. Okay, so notice how that is just 6, but I have to take away that function. Okay? Actually, you know what? Let me come back to this one here because people get a little bit confused when it dips below. So this will make a lot more sense if I do the inside, okay? The inside is this in purple, okay? I know that from here all the way to here, it's 6. So I know that this dotted line here is less than. I have to make it shorter. So this is going to be 6 minus that parabola h of x. The other function is going to follow the same fashion, 6 minus g of x. A lot of people will try to put 6 plus, but remember, these values down here are already negative. Okay? So follow the same pattern. It's always going to be the same thing at the beginning and at the end. So if you ever run across, and this is really something for beyond the AP exam because you're not being tested on it this year, this is something to think about if should you pursue anything beyond calculus or the same class, okay? But there you go, equals equal. I think we're pretty much set there. All right, and that's it.